The golden age of ARPGs. Path of Exile 2. Division. Division! Believe into Division. Division! That's not Division. Last Epoch. Solving issues in the genre that no one knew even existed. Amazing. But it looks like ass half of the time, so it is what it is. Who will be the king of a... What was that? Diablo 4? Well, it technically exists, I guess. Yeah, Diablo 3 is also... 4. Diablo 4 is somewhere also in the mix for the running, I guess. It's way behind right there, but it's technically there, you know?
3 ARPGs enter, 1 leaves with the crown. Who will it be? Hey folks, this is Riker, and Path of Exile 2 just dropped a nuke of an update that also fixes the worst part of the game. Diablo 4 Season 10 is looking to be the best season that most of you will still skip. Last Epoch Season 3,
I don't actually know what looks good about Season 10. It's just a reskin of Season 9, but maybe verse again.
a smooth launch into its Build-A-Boss mechanic. Who actually had the better update this week, and why? Drop your vote now. I'll give you mine in a minute. Outside of that, in this video, we'll also talk about...
Wait. Is the new season of Last Epoch launched? Did I miss it? I wanted to play that. I love Last Epoch.
About the release date of Silksong. We'll talk about where Rod Ferguson ended up after leaving Diablo. Hint, we...
Hopefully in the retirement home. Rod Ferguson's whole career is literally joining games and killing them. No, seriously. His whole portfolio in gaming is just him joining something and it dying under his watch. It's insane. The guy... Someone must be paying him to sabotage these things.
Kind of predicted it 2 weeks ago. We'll also talk about the latest bad news about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Timestamps in the description, but don't forget to ring that sub-notification bell to be alerted to new Saturday episodes. Kicking off with Path of Exile 2 news, we had the huge reveal of PoE 2's next big update, the Third Edict, which releases on August 29th.
Exciting.
This update is just chock full of win after win after win. You can now use the same support gems and multiple skills. Huge meta shakeup just with that one change. Unarmed monk build is now possible. Cruel difficulty is gone. We got Act 4 plus 3 temporary mini acts to tide us over until they add Acts 5 and 6. We're getting the Abyssal League mechanic that spawns fissures and pits. A huge balance overhaul that pretty much buffs most builds. Blood Mage should now be a viable early game build. We're getting tons of new items. Reloading a crossbow or switching ammunition will...
Hey, Path of Exile 2 is always exciting, what can I say?
...no longer slow you down. They added a sprint feature for everyone. You can now log in directly into town or your hideout by holding control when selecting your character. You can trade...
Wait. When Path of Exile 2 got announced, I said they're gonna add a sprint feature or something like that because they're just too slow. Every single ability that forces you into movement is gonna get reworked with time to remove the forced movement. And sprint, obviously.
Uncut skill support and reservation gems at the currency exchange. Sure, there was no new class. People were really hoping for Druid, for instance. Also, no changes to towers in the endgame, but what we are getting amounts to so much more than what we didn't get. And perhaps the most exciting feature coming with this update is asynchronous trade. Kind of like an auction house, you will now be able to find stuff on the trade site and then just buy it without having to deal with a human being. Just go straight to their...
Oh my god, base. Finally.
Hideout, interact with their NPC, buy the item, maybe browse through whatever items they also have for sale, and then just peace out. No more messaging 20 people to buy one item. No more waiting an eternity.
Dude, finally, okay? Trading's kinda cool if you want to make money, but the reality is the currency bots are gonna out-trade you all the time, so it is what it is. Man, whispering people is so annoying. Okay, especially when you miss the league start by a month or something, and well, now you need to buy this one item really a lot for your character, and it's the early game, and well, it costs 5 chaos, but you don't have 5 chaos. And now you need to offer Alks or all of that shit, and then a person says, no, now it's 5 chaos. I know you're offering me more, but it's 5 chaos. Then you need to currency exchange all of that garbage. Oh, it's so annoying.
To see if they respond, only for them to say, sorry, already sold it. No more waiting while they say, hold on, let me just finish up what I'm doing first.
Yeah.
Now, I personally prefer to play ARPGs without engaging in trade at all, like maybe just with the friend that I'm playing with. I want the game to be balanced such that I can play without trade and not feel like I'm terribly behind people who are trading. But if I can't have that, then I want the trade experience to be not terrible. And so I'm glad that I can now engage with PoE2's trade system. Because I went full on into the whole trade thing in PoE1 like 7 years ago or whatever. I had all the various third-party softwares and plugins and macros, all that stuff. I'd spend hours a day trying to just be available to sell and buy and sell. I did not want to do that again in PoE2. And I am so glad that now I don't have to. This is a trade system that I will engage with. And asynchronous trade will also come to PoE1, assuming it's not a disaster in PoE2. So to clarify on how it works, you have an NPC in your hideout, you give her the items you want to sell, you list their exact sale price using an in-game currency, your items get listed on the trade side. If someone finds it, they can then just port to your hideout, interact with your trade NPC, purchase the item for the listed price, plus a gold tax to discourage market manipulation. And the neat thing is that
yeah, RuneScape also added a gold tax to discourage market manipulation. Do you wanna guess how well that went? Yeah, not well at all. Not well at all.
That they can then browse all the items you have listed for sale. So let's say you just swapped off of a particular build and you put all of your gear up for sale in the trade house. Well, someone who wants to buy the gear for that build will basically be able to use you as a one-stop shop. Or let's say you want to buy a map from someone and then you browse their shop and see, oh, they're actually selling a ton of maps. Well, just grab their whole inventory while you're there. This really is game-changing. And just to clarify, you don't have to use this new trade system if you just want to trade the old-fashioned way. Now, these special...
Yeah, you can just be annoying and a peasant.
NPC trade tabs will be called merchant stash tabs. And until the release of the update, you can convert your existing premium tabs into these merchant tabs, but not quad premium tabs, only regular premium tabs. If you do convert them, then the premium tab will disappear entirely in PoE1 until they add asynchronous trade into PoE1. GGG's old philosophy on trade was basically that it should be a friction-filled experience, let's say, in order to not make it so easy to gear up via trade relative to playing the game. It's possibly the only game design philosophy decision from GGG that I never agreed with. I can just never agree that it's a good idea to make something a deliberately unpleasant experience for players. So I'm just so glad they've changed their mind.
Well, the trick there was supposed to be the fact that it's not deliberately or necessarily 100% unpleasant. That it's just not technically the best thing that there is. A little bit of effort. But it gets just annoying. It gets really annoying. If you're doing one trade and it falls apart, it gets annoying. If you're doing multiple trades, it gets annoying.
On this, I got a full video going over a summary of all the major points coming to the next PoE2 update. Do check that out because, again, we haven't even really scratched the surface. There is so much. And if you folks have yet to buy PoE2, they're going to be running a free weekend from August 29th to September 1st. But what are you folks most excited about? Sound off in the comments. On a Diablo 4 news, Season 10 is shaping up to be the best season that no one will play. Between the huge build shakeup...
At least he knows. At least he knows no one is going to play it. Again, I am 100% sure that every single, almost everyone, at least on Steam, when it comes to Diablo 4, is bots. Because if those people playing Diablo 4 are not bots, that means that Diablo 4 is actually secretly one of the most played games out there, and it probably has roughly 30 million players monthly, which is, needless to say, complete joke. It's just botted like every Blizzard game. Blizzard knows their games are getting botted, and they do not care. Because that gives them money. They are gonna ban the bots like once every 2 months, 3 months, maybe a month if they're feeling spicy. And then the bots are gonna just do what they do again. Because Blizzard is literally trying to make it so the botters still make a profit, so they want to keep on botting.
Some great quality of life changes and genuinely fun updates to Infernal Hordes. Season 10 is, once again, the best season.
There's no update to the Infernal Hordes. There cannot be a fun update for a game where you're supposed to do one thing 1,000 times over again, okay? Listen, the Infernal Horde update is gonna be fun for 5 runs. That's it. After that, it's gonna be ass. After that, no one's gonna like it. The new optional boss is mandatory because it drops the best shit. And if it's not achievable 100% of all runs that you play in the pit, people are gonna complain, and Blizzard's gonna make it that everyone always gets the boss anyway. This is how this is gonna work. You can clip it and ship it, boys. You know I'm right. I have been right about every single my prediction for Diablo 4 so far, and I ain't stopping. God knows I ain't stopping because it's all written there in front of me like a goddamn book.
Season of Diablo 4 yet. But if you don't like Diablo 4, this will not bring you back. For Diablo 4 enjoyers, the game has never been better. For those of you who are...
I mean, for people who are desperate and coping and playing Diablo 4, yeah, I mean, it's impossible to make the game better, and it's impossible to make the game worse at the same time, because they're just gonna continue playing it no matter what. It's like the people playing Elder Scrolls Online or Fallout 76. They just don't have anything better to do. They know their game's trash most of the part. At least Elder Scrolls players, though. Fallout 76 players are gonna probably die on the hill that Fallout 76 is the greatest game ever created. That's Diablo 4 players. They're the same. They're literally the same kind of people currently left. If you're playing the game, good on you. But at the same time, I'm looking very much down on you.
Are waiting for something really big to change before coming
because
back.
everything about the game is bad at this point. It's boring, it's repetitive, it's boring, it's repetitive. The leveling doesn't matter. Nothing before Torment 4 matters. The builds are the same, and Necromancer doesn't actually feel like a Necromancer anymore. It is what it is.
This is not it. And I'm seeing more and more people fall into that camp. Hype for Season 10 seems to be at an all-time low, with more and more people just done with the game until some of the promised big updates. But for those who still enjoy Diablo 4, the updated Infernal Hordes have been a ton of fun. The Chaos Waves are awesome. Maybe the novelty will wear off after, a week or whatever, but I never knew what to expect whenever it was a Chaos Wave. Each was a nice surprise. Sometimes you get giant worms.
How is it a nice surprise? You just kill it. If they can't listen, see, this is the problem. I like Riker, but he is just blindly in love with Diablo in general, and I mean, what you're saying is already a problem. If the Chaos Waves are good because you didn't expect things to happen, then that means after 5 runs, exactly as I already predicted, they're gonna become, well, if the good thing about the Chaos runs is, oh, things that I didn't expect happened, then you are already set to fail in 5 runs. Because you're gonna expect everything, okay? It's gonna be the same opponents and everything is gonna be the same.
Worms spitting out monsters. Sometimes we get a whole bunch of elites coming out of random portals. Sometimes it would be teleportation circles that appeared on the ground that would allow us to zoop around the map. Like you go stand in the circle and you get yeeted over to the other portal. Sometimes there was even
Wow.
just an entire wave of freaking goblins spewing out, like dozens of goblins. Like they brought the
Wow.
vault from D3 into Infernal Hordes. Spire.
You know what's my favorite, honestly, part about Diablo 4? It's the fact that they blatantly copied the whole goblin mechanic from Diablo 3. They didn't implement it instantly. They literally are still cutting it up in small, 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 small pieces. And just slowly trickling it down. And that's amazing, okay? Diablo 4 is gonna have content for literally 200 years at this rate, and half of it is gonna be an update to fucking goblins.
Still seem to suck though. I tested them a bit, not extensively. Preliminary research, I still think they're not worth running. I was running a shred build, I should mention, which is a melee build, and I just think melee build plus Spire is a terrible combination because, again, the monsters don't come to you. I just don't see how they're going to make this work. But shouldn't really matter because the meta is going to be to pick the chaos waves whenever they appear anyway. Now, outside of all that, despite a big nerf, Hydra Sorcerer still seems really strong, so no worries for Hydra enjoyers. Season 10 overall is a buff season. We're going to be probably stronger than ever. Chaos Armor and the Chaos Perks are really shaking up our builds. If you're not sure what that is, check out my video going over the Season 10 features here.
No one, except people who spend 1,000 hours playing Diablo 4 every season, are gonna care about the chaos shit. You rolling the right affixes and getting the right type of item? Shit, but I previously already I was saying, like, it's gonna be 200 runs minimum to get the item that you want. But now I figured out, wait a minute, that's actually too optimistic. Because you're gonna need probably 2 or 3 items to make your build work, right? So that means it's 400 to 600 runs on average if you're lucky to get the items that you probably need. And this is me being generous. Probably when you actually calculate all of the odds, all of the affixes, all of the fucking everything, if you want to be an endgame player, you're gonna have to spend literally tens of thousands of hours trying to get even the right pieces. Because the chaos, listen, if you cared about greater affixes for Diablo 4 gear, this this chaos armor shit is that but on steroids. Now you're not looking for 2, 3, or 4 greater affix items. You're effectively trying to roll a 10 greater affix item in a sense, because that's the same type of RNG that we're looking for here. It is fucked. Chaos Armor is probably Chaos Armor is gonna burn out even people that actually play Diablo 4 still and think it's a good game. There's no coming back from this.
Then the test server had some nice surprises in it that were not covered in, that video I just pointed to. Like dungeon keys with active whispers now have an icon if you have them in your inventory. This is a feature we've been asking for since at least Season 7. People like to say that Blizzard doesn't listen to players, that they don't listen to feedback.
Yes.
That's really not the case. The reason it may appear that way is because Blizzard just takes really long to act upon feedback. This is not an excuse, this is an explanation. Because of whatever workflow pipeline they've set up, with like one team working on Season 10, the next working on Season 11, plus just the size of the teams. They just can't be agile and reactive. So things we're asking for today, we're not going to see added for at least 6 months. And for the record, I think it would benefit them.
Yes, and in 6 months when Blizzard has added a new, more important problem, they're going to fix a minor issue. No, they're actually not even going to fix the minor issue. It's just hilarious.
And us if they could be more agile. Now, another Season 10 feature we discovered on the PTR that wasn't spoken of, boss immunity phases, gone. Gone. You can DPS your way through them now. Duriel, Harbinger, yes, even everyone's
What? Why not just make it so I can click on a chest somewhere in town and just get the items for free? Why can't we just do that? Diablo 4 is literally just becoming, like the Diablo Immortal RNG slot mechanic.
Favorite, and Dariel, you can just burst through. Our prayers have been answered. And to clarify, this is not about making the game easier, it's about making it less tedious. Because when you're spending more time waiting for them to drop their invulnerability than you are spending dealing damage to them because you're damaging them so quickly, it's just annoying. It's not difficult. So this is a great change. Now, last week we spoke about Diablo boss Rod Ferguson leaving Blizzard. Another departure that happened shortly thereafter from the Diablo team. Eleni Rivera, a narrative designer on Vessel of Hatred, is moving to the overall.
Good. Anyone who worked at anyone who's working with any story in Blizzard should be probably fired. Like, my god, Black Ops 7 is gonna have a woman protagonist. Diablo 4 is literally frying pans just hitting together and fucking girl power bullshit. World of Warcraft, it's literally the strong empowered woman getting rid of the men and putting more strong empowered women in positions of power. Okay, anyone who is working at Blizzard in general with anything story needs to be just deleted off their job position, okay? Just kick them out, don't let them even come near to the building.
Watch 2 team. Now, this can mean nothing, or it can mean that work on the story of Expansion 2 is complete, and therefore people are looking to find something else to work on. And speaking of Expansion 2, Gamescom has come and gone, and Expansion 2 was not revealed. I was really disappointed because with no BlizzCon this year, the next major venue where game announcements would typically be held would be the Game Awards in December. That pushes my timeline predictions on Expansion 2's release way back. We could be looking at another year.
By the way, you know what this means? Effectively, this just proves that Blizzard is no longer interested in making expansions. The same thing happened with Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. After that, it's like, well, we can't really make another expansion because people fucking hate us. And they didn't. That's it. Blizzard sees the numbers. They know, even though there's a lot of people coping, and literally every video I make that involves Diablo 4 is some retard yelling that Diablo 4 has 20 active million players per month. Oh, it's so tiresome, honestly. Blizzard knows this is not real. Diablo 4 is already something on... Diablo 4 is on fucking life support already. They didn't even... How long has it been since Diablo 4 added a new $100 mount? That shit doesn't even sell any longer. The milk is ending, okay? Diablo 4 is not pirate software. It's gonna run out of milk at some point.
Like summer 2026 before people are playing Paladin. This makes sense with Adam Fletcher having recently said that there would be more seasons, plural, before the expansion. Oh, and a final Diablo update here. For lore nerds like me, I sometimes get asked about Diablo 3's Leah and whether we can ever see her again. Recently on the Heroes of the Storm subreddit, Nathan Lutsock, producer on...
Isn't she dead? I thought she's dead.
Diablo 3 until he left Blizzard in 2014, confirmed that Leah's soul is turbo dead. Well, his exact words were, quote, "I can tell you that the intention was that Leah is obliterated in the process of birthing Diablo." He goes on to provide delightful insight on why it was narratively important for Leah to be gone forever and not be able to be brought back. Do give his full comment a read, and if you want to learn more about the story of Diablo 3, check out my lore series. I've actually caught up to the end of Diablo 3 right before Reaper of Souls. But how do you folks feel about Diablo 4 right now? Are you gonna play Season 10? Are you waiting for the expansion or otherwise some serious update to the game?
You know.
Off. Then in the last Epoch news, we had a smooth Season 3 launch this week.
Holy shit, it actually launched. They completely missed it. Time to go play Lich.
Beneath Ancient Skies,
Hell
which adds
yeah.
Chapter 10 of the storyline, 17 new zones.
Hell yeah, Chapter 10. I still have literally no idea what the story of Last Epoch is. I honestly doubt anyone really knows what the story of Last Epoch is. But still better than Diablo.
Dozens of new enemies, and the Primal Hunt season mechanic where you build your own boss.
Yo, come on. Bottleneck didn't even receive any changes. What is this footage, okay?
Where you build your own boss. I love just adding as many heads as quickly as possible whenever I can. Player counts are looking good going into this weekend. We're looking at concurrent player numbers peaking at about 74,000, so
Oh, cool. This looks like an actual tear in reality. That's nice. That's trippy.
probably going to rise before Monday. And that's already higher than the Season 1 peak of 71,000.
Wait, is he playing? No, he's converting the fissure to poison.
I don't think we're going to beat Season 2's peak of 150,000, but hey, it's still not bad. Beating Season 1 is an achievement in itself. The devs also revealed this week that they've reached 3 million copies sold for the game.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. This is the Last Epoch situation, right? It got sold to one of the stupidest companies ever, so they're gonna get milked. But for like a year, for at least 2 more seasons, I would expect, we're probably gonna have a pretty good time. Because the graphics are getting improved, and again, the biggest problem with Last Epoch was the launch was horrendous. I think Last Epoch missed. It could be probably 3 times. I'm not even joking. I think it could be 3 times larger at this point if the launch went successfully. The launch was a disaster. It was an absolute fucking disaster. People could not play. It just was. There's no excuse, sadly. I think it could have been 3 times larger because the hype died down. The hype died down because we capped the players. It was sad. So, I mean, I think Last Epoch has a lot of potential to be the big thing. And if they improve graphics, I mean, it's easier to understand than Path of Exile 2. There's probably going to be... They need... Okay, listen. To get most people into this game, Last Epoch needs some kind of default filter for what spec you want to play. And so that gets applied very early in the game on. So, because if you're not using a filter, one of the biggest problems with Last Epoch is the amount of shit you just pick up. Because you don't know if it's going to be good, it's going to be bad, blah, 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 blah. I'm a person with a good amount of experience in this game, and I still pick up some shit time to time, okay? And I still sometimes fail the loot filter somehow, okay? The loot filter making it is not hard, but making it exactly really good is actually a fucking chore. Even though it's really easy to do, it's still an absolute chore, sadly. So, if Last Epoch could add, well, better graphics for all of their skills, better effects, better MTXs, and blah blah blah, that's the big one. And the second one is, at this point, probably adding a loot filter. Probably adding some kind of loot filter that automatically, an automatic loot filter that fucking filters out the shit that drops for you based on what you are currently kind of trying to build or whatever. If Last Epoch added that, it would just be so much better for new players. One of my biggest previous issues with Last Epoch that they did fix was that the early game was kind of ass in a lot of sense. It was slow. It was kind of tedious. Getting your Ascension class. What the fuck even do we actually call that? Oh no. What is that actually called? I have no idea. Anyway, the Ascension class took too long, and the early portion of the game was kind of fucking boring and lame. And a lot of skills didn't actually allow you to plow through it fast enough. And that also part got kind of fixed for the most part, which is really good again. So yeah, they have fixed a lot, and they're gonna fix more. And if Last of Epoch doesn't become a microtransaction hell, it's gonna one-to-one compete with Path of Exile 2 over, probably in 2 years it's gonna fucking compete with Path of Exile 2 easy, in my opinion.
Launch in February 2024, they'd reached 1 million sales, and they hit about 2.1 million total players within 30 days of launch. So,
Okay, what is he doing with this? What are we fissuring?
Of launch.
Curse of the Damned, solely, slow, and bleed.
So,
and I think that was a poison effect at the very end.
Launch. So,
no, that was not a poison effect.
Assuming that
yeah, I have no idea what we're doing.
Into copies, to have picked up another 1 million sales over the year and a half since launch, that's great. But how do you folks feel? Are you playing Season 3, or are you skipping it? What build are you going for? I'm leveling with a Warlock, but I want to swap to Lich in the endgame, Melee Lich. So now that we've spoken about...
I think everyone's playing Melee Lich. It's and everything else, I kind of don't care about that. Anyway, that was Riker, 10 out of 10. Diablo 4 is garbage. Remember that. Everything else is acceptable. Bye.